I had to turn it off because I can't play copyrighted music. Sorry, but I was getting down, getting funky. All right, so like I said, I changed, so it's new. I'm as much music focused as I can. That's where it's going, and I have it's takes longer, and I have 3 pages, so it's 3 handwritten pages now, not just one. So it may be longer because there's a lot, and I try and dive into some of them and read more of them because it actually excites me more than history and thinking about what happens in the 1940s, for God's sakes. Who cares, right? It's just our past. We don't learn from it anyway. We're stupid. I did read some of it, but anyway. How's everyone tonight? It's Thursday. I was totally thrown off because there was no blue garbage cans out today. They're out tonight. So that's Thursday, which is tomorrow, but it's not 'cause it's Friday because of Labor Day. It screwed everything up. Everything's askew. And the rain this morning, what's up with that? At 2 o'clock in the morning, I had to go outside and go untarp a deck because I had tarped it for paint and I was going to paint first this morning. Oh no, I didn't take it down. I had wood outside. I had to get all the wood gathered up. I had a saw outside. I was like, seriously, it's going to rain? And yeah, sure as crap, it rained this morning. So I was glad I did it. But yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning, I was outside literally taking down a bunch of tarps and moving a bunch of wood. That's what happens. You plan for the best, expect the best and plan for the worst, right? Isn't that something like that? I don't know. Wait, no video. Wait, no video. What? No video. Oh, shit. Sorry. It's my bad. I hit the wrong button. Thanks, Todd. See, that's why I really need the screen in front of me. It's over here. So the only live feed I have is about this big. I see all the cameras I can see, which shows preview program, but doesn't show me live. The live's a small one. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate you. Good looking out, buddy. Good looking out. But that's why I am probably going to bring the TVs down. And I'm thinking I'm going to set maybe 2 of them, like 2 60-inch TVs, like one right here, like just out of, like right here where my fingertip is, where that TV will be. And the other one intentionally be like either here or here. So you won't see them, but I'll have everything in front of me in giant, full stuff. So anyway, I was listening to Gary Wright. My Love is Alive. Unfortunately, Gary died on this day at 80 years old. 2023 is when he died. But he did Dreamweaver. Remember that song? Dreamweaver. But they were great songs. So Dreamweaver and My Love is Alive. But that's what I was listening to. Anyway, so like I said, mostly music centric now. We're going to move toward music, and I still have to work on the order because I'm gathering it from multiple sources. So my timing kind of gets jumbly. It goes forward, it goes backwards, jumps. So sorry, that consistency of the linear time, that's not happening. Maybe it will later, but writing is tedious. So anyway, all right, I'm just going to start. So for some reason, I started with births and deaths, and then it goes to history, and then it goes into like stuff, but it's, like I said, it's out of order completely. And this affects music genres that I want to be affected. So I'm going to skip things that I don't care about, like potentially country music. Sorry. I'm also going to skip things that I don't care about. That is country music, potentially. Sorry. And music that I don't really like. Country music. Sorry. That's just my personal take on it. And for some reason, the students, it's the first week of classes and it's the first real weekend. They play lots of loud music. And unfortunately, for the most part, their music selections suck. Okay? Just suck. Like, they're just hanging out to put in bay too much or something. I don't know. But I mean, come on. Like, play something good. Occasionally we do, but man, they play a bunch of crap. Really, just get your musical taste in order, kids. All right. I'm serious. That stuff just sucks. And it's loud, so turn it down. Get off my lawn, you damn kids. I don't really have any lawn, so that doesn't hurt. And I have fences and, dogs and everything else. Anyway, so born on this day, Mark Ronson, born in 1975, is 50 years old. So Mark Ronson is a producer, DJ, whatever. The reason he's important is because he has 7 Grammy Awards for Amy Winehouse, Lady Gaga, Queens of the Stone Age, Miley Cyrus, Bruno Mars, and he was the producer of the year for Amy Winehouse's Back to Black album. I looked this guy up. He's pretty amazing when it comes to his producing. He's done a lot when it comes to some of these artists and many others too. But those are the big names that he's done. So happy birthday, Mr. Mark Ronson. As I was saying, Gary Wright, and I'm going to see if I can start using the pictures. I was reading all about fair use today. And if I'm doing a news thing like this, I may be able to get away with that unless Sony really, 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 really wants to come after me. So I can show you the picture of Gary Wright because his picture is like his eyes are closed and he's got like makeup on, his glasses, and it's just this dreamy kind of, 70s picture. You're just like, groovy, man, groovy. But Gary Wright, Dreamweaver and Love is Alive, died on this day in 2023. And it keeps the deaths to a low level if I can, unless they have some significance. Born on this day is Kim Thayil. She's 65 today, Soundgarden co-founder. We saw Soundgarden play a couple times. I've got an autographed set list with Kim on there, and Soundgarden played. I think was one of their last shows was here. There was right before here or here that they played like Rock on the Range. You can skip country. Thank you. Yes, Valerie, Amy Winehouse, great song by Mark Ronson. Exactly. See? Mark Ronson. Birthday today, 1981, Beyonce. I liked Beyonce in Austin Powers. I thought she was funny in that. I've got to tell you, speaking of singers being actors and actresses, and wrestlers being actors and actresses. Okay, I'm going to officially say it. Okay, you can agree with me or disagree with me. Okay, wrestlers. Okay, wrestlers that are actors. Okay, you've got The Rock. He made a lot of money, but I'm like, okay, whatever. John Cena. Okay, that guy is freaking hilarious. I really like John Cena as an actor. He's good. Sorry, I'm gonna say it. I liked him in what he was doing, but man, his show it's hilarious. I think Cena is actually a good actor. So I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna stick with it. I think he's a better actor than The Rock. So wrestlers for acting, I'm gonna go with John Cena. Just saying. And it has nothing to do with him following me on my social medias. Paul Harvey was born on this day. He was a radio guy forever. You've probably heard of Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey Radio. He died in 2009, but, Paul Harvey, because it was radio. So, we don't get a lot of celebrity stuff. It's all Howard Stern and, fuck that guy. Yes, I said that. Born on this day was John McCartney, and he was a computer science nerd. Now, this is only because computer science nerd. He died in 2011, but he is the one credited with coining artificial intelligence. That's right. He is supposedly the guy who coined AI. My motorcycle license plate that says AI. See, I was down that rabbit hole way before people realized it. I mean, look, that's back to 16, and I've got like 10 little things on there. So that going back to like 2000, my first plate for my motorcycle. So that goes back to like the single digits. Okay? Just saying. Born on this day was Dick York, Darren on Bewitched. I only bring that up because we talked about Bewitched the other day and the two Darrens, Darren York. So it's all just, bring up a little bit of that. Some, born on this day, Merlin Bubba Knight. Merlin Bubba Knight from Gladys Knight and the Pips. I don't know if he has anything to do with the name Knight. I didn't have time to look at that. So if it does, that's great. Foxy Cleopatra. Exactly. Foxy Cleopatra. Right. There's that scene where they're talking and I just love when they're talking and they've got their backs to each other and they have their interpreter. Anyway, Merlin Bubba Knight, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Midnight Train to Georgia, that song, all that good stuff. You can't not love Gladys Knight and the Pips. Gene Parsons, the drummer from the Byrds. It's funny, a lot of the birthdays of musicians today were drummers. So I guess if today was the day to be born a drummer, it must be some zodiac sign that makes you the drummer guy. So, brum-a-bum-bum. But yeah, Gene Parsons from the Byrds, and he was the drummer in the Byrds. Marlon Chambers of the Pretenders, also a drummer, born on this day. I just had to put him in there. Damon Wayans of the Wayans Brothers from In Living Color, because I don't know if you ever saw it. I've told you about the skit that they do about jobs. Like, I got 10 jobs, man, and then the boyfriend has one job. You got one job, man. How do you only have one job, man? I feel like that every day because I don't have one job, man. I have many jobs, man. I know. And then, how did I not know this? How did I not know this? John DiMaggio, who I've seen the name because he plays Bender on Futurama, but he's from Plainfield, New Jersey. I'm like, wait a second. That's literally the town next to where I was raised. I was like, wait, what? And he's similar in age. So I'm like, I could have encountered this guy at some point in my life. John DiMaggio, Bender from Futurama, from Plainfield, New Jersey. What the hell, people? Why did no one tell me that he was from there? I feel like I've completely missed out on this now. And then, of course, just because, born on this day in 2179 is Nyota Uhura. Star Trek, because they did that. They gave them birthdays way in the future because, remember, it was, from the 31st century. And now we know the rest of the story. Which is the rest of the story? To what? What part, Todd? I didn't see that fast enough. All right. Oh, and then dead on this day, Steve Harvey, or Harville of Smash Mouth. Now, he died of liver failure. And if I remember correctly, he died in 23. So a couple of years ago, hey, now you're an all-star. I remember the people talking about some of his performances toward the end, and they were just not great. He was just sloshed on stage, just, not remembering words. And I don't know if I read or something, so it told me he got into a fight or something, but just not good, not great, not great. But yeah, so Steve Harville of Smash Mouth left us on this day he said, massive liver failure. I mean, is there such thing as, if your liver fails, it just fails. Massive is like when it just like exploded. It like got up and walked away. It's just like, peace out. I'm out of here. How does that work? What's massive liver failure? I just know liver failure. It just says, I'm done. But this is like he packed his bags and hit the road. I don't know. Massive liver failure. All right. So albums released on this day. 1970, the Rolling Stones, Get Your Ya-Ya's Out. That was their second live album ever. But that was Rolling Stones' second. In 2001, System of the Down, Toxicity also relieved it's their second album. And that was produced by Rick Rubens. So that's, again, a pretty big producer name to do System of the Down, the heavy metal band, Toxicity. In 1992, on this day, Sugar released Copper Blue. their first album. And remember, Sugar was Bob Mould of Husker Du. So Bob Mould of Husker Du fame, came out with Sugar. I remember that when we were playing that a lot. We played Sugar because everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's Bob Mould! It's Husker Du!" So that was a big deal to have him come out with a second, band of that name. So very cool. Oh, Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. Right, now we know the rest of the story. Sorry, yes, that's correct. We do know the rest of the story. I wasn't paying attention, Todd. What can I tell you? I know the rest of the story now, and maybe I'll give you the rest of the story. In 1990, Los Lobos, their fifth album was released, The Neighborhood. Now, we actually had a big room with Los Lobos years ago. That was when we were actually at the 503 South Front Street location, and we were still CD 101. There's a picture of them somewhere, but I remember that was a big room picture that hung in the studio for a long time. One of the classic photographs, the black and whites of the very first big rooms. I was looking at those because I was cleaning, and I have one of Cracker playing a big room on August 21st. I was like, wait, that's our birthday. That picture will not go up for auction for people who want to buy it, because I'm like, hell's no. I gotta keep that. Love Cracker, and it's a birthday picture. I'm like, yeah, we'll keep that one. And then a song released on this date, 1967, The Doors released People Are Strange. And that was actually part of the album Strange Days, which gets released in a couple days in September. I believe mid-September that's released. But yeah, People Are Strange was released on this day in 1967 by The Doors. Did I tell you that Christmas is up at Lowe's? I guess Labor Day, that's the cutoff? You can literally put Christmas up after Labor Day? Seriously, what the hell? I'm not cool with it. I'm just not cool with it. It's too early. It can't be 90 and thinking about Christmas unless you live somewhere that it's always 90 and you don't get winter. Just saying. In 1996, at the MTV Music Awards, Oasis made a big hoo-ha, brouhaha, big deal, as they were playing at Radio City Music Hall. And they were playing Champagne Supernova. Liam spat on the stage and then threw a beer at the audience, creating quite a stir at the MTV Music Awards. Later, 2024, Oasis added 2 more dates to the Wembley shows that are happening now in a couple of days because of super high ticket demand. And apparently there was such high ticket demand that the platforms are having a problem with it. They publicly came out, the Brothers Gallagher publicly came out against Ticketmaster and their dynamic pricing. Publicly said it. Because, you ready for this one? Tickets that were originally $150, or I guess it was 150, yeah, 150 or 155 pounds. So $200, cost almost $500 after dynamic pricing. So doubled the price. So entry-level tickets were $500 because of the dynamic pricing demand. Yeah, that's just greed. I remember waiting in line. When we were kids, we used to go and camp out in Rahway, New Jersey at a Ticketmaster location. And there'd be, long lines of kids. And we would get, we'd get there sometimes hours the night before, camp out on the sidewalk, hang out. It was like a party all night long. And we'd get, tickets for Madison Square Garden. And we got, amazing seats sometimes. We'd get, 10th row or whatever because we were first in line. We waited. And there wasn't professional scalpers. If someone was in the line that was looking like they were not cool and stuff, people were like, hey man, get out of here. What are you doing? You can't sell your tickets. And there was a 4-ticket limit. That was it. You could get 4 tickets, you and your 3 buddies, and that's it. So it wasn't like you could buy 10 tickets and lots of tickets and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that better. Wait in damn line. Camp out. And then if you can't camp out because you're old and you want to buy tickets, then you pay a premium. But otherwise, you should have some benefit of waiting in line, shouldn't you? I had to wait in line on the phone today with Federal Express. I'm so not happy with having to do that, just so you know. Phone trees, please stop it. AI voices, again, please stop it. Which I know you're not. It's not going to happen. This is going to get worse. But I just want a human. Because the question's like, would you like this? No. Would you like this? I'm like, you're not going to, you don't, this is not going to end well. Because you're not going to ask the question of what I'm actually going to ask. None of your prompts are going to fit the question I'm going to ask you. Because I have a unique question. I know my question is unique. And it was exactly that. And finally I got to that person. And because... I'm just ranting on this one, but because I had talked to the AI thing, they're like, well, they've already started. I'm like, no. That literally happened like 10 seconds ago. There's no way that you didn't put it. It's not on a truck going somewhere today. Well, I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. Well, we're gonna have to call you back. I'm like, no. I was like, I just need to know about the package delivery. It's now lost in the ether. I have no idea where this Federal Express package is. Because the tracking number doesn't work now. And I'm like, I can't pick it up because it's not addressed to, I don't have any identification that has that address on it. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. But yes, computers, thank you so much, AI. 2022, Nirvana. Nirvana had the lawsuit dismissed against them from the 1991 album cover of Nevermind, where now 31 naked Spencer Eldon sued Nirvana, saying, ready, I quote, that he was being exploited with child sexual abuse. He was the naked kid swimming in the water toward the dollar bill on the fishhook. And he sued Nirvana, basically saying he was exploited and with child sexual abuse. The judge ruled it was not, and that he dismissed it, also saying that basically time had expired, that you had years to do this and your statute of limitation had expired for any of those claims, dismissing the lawsuit. But yeah, I mean, bro, come on. Is that you just because, just a little willy thing? What is that? Did someone touch you in a bad place and you got mad? What happened? You're famous, dude. You could be like, look, I'm the kid on Nirvana. I'd be all about it. It's kind of cool, right? No, I don't think so. He wanted to sue them. I can get money, yes, bitch. 2015, Keith Richards. Now this I found to be interesting. Keith Richards spoke to the New York Daily News and said that rap music was for tone-deaf people. And doubling down, he said, all I need is a drum beat and someone yelling over it, and they're all happy. Ooh, Keith, wow, tell us how you really feel about rap music. I mean, damn, son. Apparently you got some issue with that. I'm not even harshing on country music that bad. I'm not a fan, but I'm not going to be, screaming down on the country fans. Shit, they sell out the stadium 2 times over. So, I mean, just because I don't like it doesn't mean other people don't. Keith Richards. Woo. 2010, The Prodigy had their 3rd #1 in the UK. Always outnumbered, never outgunned. Became #1 with The Prodigy. Didn't know that. 2008, Jimi Hendrix. Again, all these names popping up way past their expiration. Jimi Hendrix, in a memorabilia of rock auction, the first guitar he set ablaze, a Fender Stratocaster, sold at auction. This is when he first lit it, first one he ever lit in 1967, still scorched. The Fender Stratocaster sold for a whopping $376,000 in auction. That same day, the first contract ever signed by the Beatles in 1962, all 4 of them signed it, sold in the same auction for $322,000. So, yeah, so someone's got those hanging on their walls right now going, check this out. Look what I got. I have things for auction. Do you want to give me that kind of money? I'll take it. Thank you so very much. I don't think I'll get that, but hey, it's worth a shot, right? I'm lucky to get a couple $100. Nobody cares. 2007, The Police, the band with Sting, not the kind that are going to come bust in your door at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, get down, hands in the air. Today was the first day of their 2-day reunion tour. Well, that was a big boom. I know you can't hear it, but the fireworks in the background. Students are back. Yay. So excited. Close my windows at night. 1987, Mike Joyce quits the Smiths, stating that all the things that need to be done have been done and fulfilled in this role. He then sues Johnny Marr and Morrissey equally for all royalties and rights. He wins. He gets awarded about $1.3 million for past royalties that they didn't pay him. So, you go. Bandmates not happy. 1982, Steve Miller Band. The Steve Miller Band. They start a 2-week run at #1 for the song Abracadabra. I don't know if you remember the Abracadabra, gonna reach out and grab ya. I hear some of these songs, I'm like, I know those songs. I didn't think they were ever that great, but I guess, that's, oh, damn, I didn't see it coming. My bad. Totally my bad. That's on me. I wasn't paying enough attention because it's kind of in the corner. I'll have to take a picture one of these days to show you what my view is. I guess that'd be fun. I could kind of take my picture and go like, here's what I see when I'm looking at the camera. Because I just see this, I see like backpacks. I've got like 2 camera backpacks back there and another thing. I've got all these antennas and they're just stuff. But there's a teeny little number that pops up in the far left corner that I can't to see. If I don't notice it, it kind of vanishes into the background. Sorry. Anyway, Abracadabra starts the 2-week run at #1 back in 1982. Also in 1982, Survivor, the band Survivor, not the TV show Survivor, which I've applied for and I made it to the second round. But they said they had me already. I guess they already had somebody that was me. How do you have me already? Anyway, Survivor goes to #1 in the UK for theme song from Rocky 3, Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger. Yeah, you know that song. We all know that song. Everyone at least knows about Rocky 3, whether you watched it or not. You know about Eye of the Tiger. Now this one, it's interesting because if you listen to the Sex Pistols and you listen to this song, you can actually hear them talking about this. In 1976, on this day, the Sex Pistols made their very first TV debut on Manchester TV, and they played, as you know, Anarchy in the UK. Now, if you listen to the song, there's a song where they have him saying that they won't play after certain times or whatever. It was controversial because it was the Sex Pistols, but this was what they sort of credit it with launching them after being around for a bit and kind of like slowly stepping up. This is kind of what like shoved them into the public eye, this TV appearance, because everyone was like shocked by, the Sex Pistols in their shockingness of just being exactly who they were with, not being apologetic for anything that they did ever. But this was sort of the precursor for Nevermind the Bollocks. And then on top of that, this is sort of the beginning of the end for them, because the Sex Pistols were only around for 2 years. People don't realize that their career lasted from 1976 pretty much to 1978, and that was it. So they were of pretty much very finite amount of time the Sex Pistols performed because, well, Sid and Nancy Spungen. Anyway, so Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the UK, performed on this day. Now, in 1976, the Bee Gees hit #1 for You Should Be Dancing. It's their third #1, and this pretty much locked them in for their disco stardom. Okay? Now, I've talked about this before, so I had to go back and go find it. And I found something else on this day. So in 1968, the Bee Gees, this is their second #1 back in 1968 for I've Got to Get a Message to You. Now, I guess that was about a prisoner that was going to be killed. Very different. If you really want to hear different, listen to the Bee Gees from their disco era, or if you know that, but then go find this song. This song is from 1967. It is Every Christian Lion-Hearted Man Will Show You. It's worth listening to. I first heard it when I was watching the Righteous Gemstones, because like I said, me and Shazam are like this. They played this song then. I'm like, who is this? So I Shazammed. I was like, the Bee Gees? I'm like, what? But yes, it's the Bee Gees. It's this psychedelic kind of very 1967 vibe that is not the Bee Gees of, 10 years later when they literally were the mantle and the kings of the throne for disco. But definitely check it out. Every Christian Lion-Hearted Man Will Show You. Just psychedelic rock by the Bee Gees. Interesting. 1976, Fleetwood Mac, #1 for their self-titled album, Fleetwood Mac. I think everybody had that. If you had that album from 1973, you owned that Fleetwood Mac album because it was like, wow, amazing. It was the first of 3 #1 albums that you got from Fleetwood Mac. Also in 1976, on this day, ABBA, Dancing Queen, starts their 6-week run at #1. They hit the top of the charts in 13 countries, including the US and even Russia. Who knew that Russia had a Billboard? But yes, ABBA hit #1 in Russia as well as part of that 6 weeks in 1976 for Dancing Queen. Who knew? 1971, Paul McCartney, along with Linda McCartney at the time, from the Ram album, received his first solo #1. And it was for Uncle Albert and Admiral Halsey. McCartney later recalls that it was actually about his real uncle, and Admiral Halsey about our Admiral Halsey. But yes, he said that he has an actual uncle that the song is about. I was like, okay, interesting. You have to listen to the song and you'll be like, I guess you have a quirky Uncle Albert then. Yes, what will Keith Richards' thought be in 2065? I don't know, but he'll still be here and still be crapping on rap, apparently. Doesn't say anything bad about country music, but rap? Not his thing, man, I guess. In 1969, the movie Easy Rider is released. Jack Nicholson, Peter Fonda, and Dennis Hopper. Now, the thing is so memorable about that is it has one of the first classical soundtracks for a movie. And that one included the band, Jimi Hendrix, and Steppenwolf. So that was something that then became more prevalent in movies after that 1969 movie, Easy Rider. In 1968, like I said, see, out of order, just here to here to here to here, because finding multiple resources and then connecting, like when the Bee Gees did something here, I could find it years later on a different resource, but I'll work on that. It just takes a lot of time. And again, I handwrite this stuff. I need to, maybe find something. If there was something I could talk to that could write down everything I say. No, I'm not going to use ChatGPT. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to fall down that rabbit hole. I still will talk about that. I have to, because I've read that article again, and it's just bonkers, man. Freaking bonkers. Just don't do it. Okay? Don't believe AI. Just don't do it. Don't talk to it and let it convince you that you're completely fine if it's telling you, yes, you discovered something new, like a new element, or I don't know, that earthquakes happen only certain times of the year. I just guessed that on my own. AI had nothing to do with it. 1968, the Beatles, Hey Jude, and Revolver, promotional videos. Apparently, at the time, vocals could only be live, and you couldn't do a pre-recording because there was a lip sync British Musicians Union ban. So you couldn't do it. So they recorded this promo video. They did it live the audio live over recorded music, and they used a 36-piece orchestra and over 300 fans and extras to do the chorus refrain and sing in that long refrain. So I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear that one. I couldn't find it. I looked for a couple of minutes and couldn't find it, but that would be interesting to hear what that sounds like with 300 fans doing that and a live 36-piece orchestra. Who knew? And then I talked about the Bee Gees already in 1968. They got their second number one, which is I've Got to Get a Message to You. And then also on this day, in 1968, Help by the Beatles was the number one song. In 1965, this is like, the guy getting killed by a bale of hay. The Who, the band The Who, the British band The Who, had their van stolen with over $10,000 worth of equipment in it. They were at the Battersea Dog Home while they were inside. What were they doing at the Battersea Dog Home? They were buying a guard dog. The van was later recovered. The equipment was not, apparently. But, okay, I'm going in to buy guard dogs. And well, you apparently needed one in the van at that moment. Did you not, Mr. Who? Oh, Roger Daltrey. That must have been amusing. Our van got stolen. We have a guard dog. Again, the 1962, the Beatles, because as you go backwards, you run into bands that were around that we actually care about. But in 1962, the Beatles, once again, did their first formal recording session at EMI Abbey Road Studios. Apparently that they did a recording session June 6th that George hated. And so they redid it, and in the studios they came up with Love Me Do and Please Please Me, the new Abbey Road studio for their first formal recording there. 1954, Elvis. This is. I was like, yeah, I guess so. So Elvis, to coincide with his second Sun Studio recording release, he basically said, okay, great, I'm going to make this release. We're going to go do a performance at the Grand Ole Opry. So he went and did a performance at the Grand Ole Opry. Well, I guess the audience reaction was so poor, like booing him off the stage, that the manager of the Grand Ole Opry, quote unquote, told Elvis that he should go back to driving a truck. Well, of course, undaunted, Elvis kept on going, and we know where that led to. But yeah, could you imagine being one of those people in the audience at the beginning just booing Elvis? You suck! Get off the stage, you long hair! What are you doing gyrating your hips up there? And be like telling your kids later on, I saw Elvis. I was a huge fan, as you were booing him and throwing rotten tomatoes at him. Oh, man. People. So there it is. See, that is more music-centric. Okay? All the music-centric stuff that happened on this day. Less history stuff. So I moved away from the history stuff. I'm not going to tell you what today's day is unless I have time to, and it's something that's relevant to music or art or something. I don't know. Don't forget, next week, well, this weekend, if you're so inclined, it is Hot Times in Old Town. It's the people that put on ComFest that's happening at the Ohio Department of Health. It's at Parsons and Main Street. I believe it is all weekend long. It is Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. So go check it out if you want to go see some live music. Go support a good cause. Like I said, it's the same people that do ComFest, the old hippie organizers. I just dropped off all my snow fence there this morning. I lend my hand to that, so I dropped off all the metal bike rack fencing. And it has RANDSANITY on it, so you'll have to appreciate that. As I spray painted every single one by hand with a RANDSANITY stencil, so I know it's mine. Hey, it's expensive. But that's this weekend. And then next weekend, don't forget, is the 934 Festival. And I'll be the MC at that. That's happening Friday and Saturday at the 934 Gallery, just off of Cleveland Avenue and 5th. So Cleveland and 5th, right there by Rogue Fitness. Can't miss it. It's got a bunch of visual art aspects outside, beautiful murals that are painted, and then they have, they have the lighting techniques, light mapping of the art. So it's kind of cool. So the picture may be one thing, but they put the light on and it changes it completely because it's the same picture, but it can alter it. So it's very cool. And then there's lots of bands. So I would definitely say go and check it out. It's free. It's for a good cause. It's helping local, musicians and local art. And that's where I got that one t-shirt that I will eventually sell on the website. And I'll send all the proceeds to them because it says, now what does it say? Crap. Oh, art is work, pay artists. Right. Art is work, pay artists. I may see Brian Phillips tomorrow morning. I'm supposed to have coffee with him, but I think I forgot to respond. So I might just do that right now and be like, oh, he's still on? And I would not normally do that because he'd be in bed, but he's not getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go do a show. So maybe he's still awake. Maybe old habits have changed. I don't know. I don't care. Regardless, I'm still going to send the text anyway. All he can do is tell me to go eat a dick. All right. So there you go. So there's the new format, more music centric, less, because I don't have to look at death and destruction. I was getting tired of that. I couldn't really deal with that anymore. It was becoming this grind for almost 100 days looking at everything from 1940. Like seriously, every freaking day. It was like, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm just like, wow, we are a horrible species. We really were. Still are. Just saying. All right. I think I did that all right. Yeah, I did all the pages. I did all the pages. So I will work on maybe getting the TV, and that would be different because that would be up there, and then maybe I'm even more organized. Let's not get crazy, though. Organized, schmorganized. Just saying. I'm going to take my liquid death, and I'm going to depart. Is it going to rain tomorrow? I hope not. I did bring all this stuff. No, I didn't. Crap, I left wood outside because I had to stain some boards. I had to stain 3 more boards. And that'll be done. Done with the 3rd floor. I built 2 beautiful bedrooms in a big empty space. Now there's actually bedrooms in there with closets and the molding and trim, and it's gorgeous. I'll send you pictures. I'll show you the before and after because I think I have before and after. And they look great. Just saying. Just saying for myself. And that's it. I'm leaving. I'm going upstairs. I'm going to leave my 7x8 world of, I don't know what, just massive amounts of stuff. I know. It's just crap everywhere. Marie Kondo would not be happy. Does it bring you joy? It does bring me joy. I feel like I'm surrounded by stuff. I mean, some of the stuff I probably don't need anymore, but there will come that day that I'm like, wait, I know where that piece of string is. It's in this drawer right here. Look. I knew I saved that for 30 years for something. Just saying. Oh, and I didn't hit the lottery, clearly, because I'm still here doing this. Wish me luck. I'm playing tomorrow. Have a great evening. Enjoy your Friday. It's the start of another weekend. I can't believe it's the weekend already, but hey, it is what it is. So enjoy. Have a wonderful time. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you more than you could possibly imagine. Truly, I do, out of the deepness of my heart. Oh, and God bless Deb for surviving her heart surgery today. So, Ms. Duda, we all said a prayer for her. So, Duda will happen again next year, and Italian Festival. So, anyway, thank you. Appreciate you. Do good things. Fade to black. Hasta mañana. No rain tomorrow. Sweet. I need to know that we don't have to go deal with stuff. Thank you, Todd.